Here we go. I'm Dennis Felcher. This is Demonstration Skills for Woodturners, and I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you.
You're lucky.
Yeah, I want to thank you. And Greg, Gene, no, look, guys, this is really important. You know, you are the teachers of the next generation of woodturners. You know, the woodturning community is really unique. We're unique, we really are. You know, where do you learn woodturning? From a woodturner. And we spend 1,000 hours teaching and learning how to turn wood. How much time do we spend teaching the teachers how to teach it? Right. She said 0. She's right.
I agree.
Yeah. So this is what this is about, to try to give you the background and a framework so that you can be the teachers of the next generation of woodturning, because this community to me is very, very important, and I want to see it continue, and we need you. I got too much white hair. All right. The way this is going to start is the goals. Make you better if you've done it a few times. If you haven't done it a few times, it's to make it easier for you to get started at it, because embedded in here is the ABCs of how to do it. Now, we're going to start with some big picture stuff, and then we're going to come down and drill down to exactly the roadmap that you ought to follow as you develop the demonstration. And then I'm going to share with you a whole bunch of mistakes that I have made. And you're still going to make mistakes. But what I hope is that since I've told you the mistakes that you're going to run into, you're going to say, oh yeah, now I get it faster than I did. Okay? Now, there are a lot of different styles of demonstrations. What comes to my mind is Trent Bosch. I don't know if any of you have seen Trent Bosch demonstrate, but he is really good. He talks fast. He's got a lot of information. He's putting it out there. He uses a whiteboard. I mean, he's got all of the skills, right? He's really good. Then there's Al Sturt. I don't know if any of you have seen Al Sturt demonstrate, but Al's a little short, and he always wears a face shield. Always. And he doesn't talk a lot, but he puts that face shield up and talks, puts the face shield down, and goes up there to that wood, and streams just flow through the air. Totally different style than Trent. Who is better? Well, the answer is yes. Okay, so I'm going to show you my style. But I got to tell you, don't copy me. Take the demonstration skills and techniques that I'm going to show you and sometimes exaggerate. The ones that make sense to you, keep them. The ones that you see me use and you don't like, put them away. Ignore them. Become what's natural to you. Now, there are two key components in every decent demonstration. And the first one is competency. You've got to be competent at whatever you're making. Now, it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be a duck call, right? It could be a finger top. It could be this marvelous, multi-dimensional, moving sound, smell. I mean, I don't care what it is, but you've got to be competent at it. If you're not competent, it's going to show. And if you go into your club and you get up there and you show that you're not competent, quite frankly, your reputation cemented in. So get the competency done. Now, the second part of every good demonstration is engagement. You have to engage the audience. Now, you've seen me do that. What did I do? I walked around, didn't I? And I looked at folk, and I even remembered a few names. But your name tag's upside down, Michael. Andrew. See, I told you that well. But that's part of it, is to do what's natural to you, to be able to engage your audience. Hugely important. There are a lot of different parts to speaking. But one of the things that keeps coming up is overestimation of one's ability. That's a normal trait that we all have. So the only thing I'm going to guarantee you is if I ask this audience for a show of hands on who is an above average driver and who is an below average driver, it won't be 50-50, right? It's just the way we are. It's okay. It's okay. It's natural. But when it comes to being a teacher and demonstrating, you need to make sure that you're competent. Now, it even gets worse today, because what has happened today is new turners don't know better. You know, I'm a competent turner. I watched every YouTube video out there, right? I mean, I've watched all these YouTubes. I'm good. Well, they don't know better. It's not their fault. So as a demonstrator, I'm going to charge you $5. You're late.
Okay.
But hey, you're in the front row, so I pay you $3. So it's $2 net. Okay, what'd I just do? Did I make him feel uncomfortable?
Maybe. Listen, I got thicker skin than that. I'm a wood turner.
Hey, good response. Okay, engage your audience. Competency. Get your demonstration, record it, have a master turner in the club vet it for you. What you're looking for is two things, is reasonable demonstration skills, but more importantly, solid turning skills, because you are the teachers. All right? Now, it's a very interesting thing about engagement. There's a certain reality here. If you give a wood turning demonstration, how many of the people in that audience are going to go home and make whatever that project is?
3 in 10.
If that. But they're paying their dues to the club, and they want to go home and feel like they got their money's worth. So when you talk about engagement, there's a line becomes engagement to entertainment. Now, I don't go overboard on the entertainment, all right? But you need to be able to engage your audience. And you're going to see a number of examples up here that can that make that work. Now, I have to ask you a question. I can't cover it all. There's simply too much under this topic. If I had my druthers, it'd be a full day of training, all right? I got 90 minutes. So I have to make some hard decisions about what's covered and what's not covered. So I need your opinion. Would you like me to spend the next 10 minutes explaining to you and telling you about my background and why I'm qualified to be up here on talking to you about this topic? Or should we spend that 10 minutes talking about demonstration skills to make you better?
Demonstration skills.
Show of hands. Me? Demonstration skills. Okay, this is huge. This isn't about me. Okay, it isn't about the demonstrator. It's how successful is that demonstrator in conveying new information into the memory of people in here who are interested. It's not about you. I don't care how good a wood turner you are. I don't care how masterful your pieces are. His is better. And back there in the back, she is a supreme artist recognized nationally. Okay? It's not about us. It's about your audience. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You got to find your own style. You really do. So when you go into a demonstration over this weekend, look at it on two levels. Look at the project, learn the wood turning skills, but also look at the techniques that the turner uses to be able to convey that information to the audience. All right, remember the good stuff. And the stuff you don't like, say, I'm not going to ever do that like he did. I'm going to know better than that. All right, now I'm not going to go through the basics of speaking. I suspect that all of us in here have speaking of one shape, form. We all got no hair, white hair, whatever. But we've all had previous careers where we talk to people. But there are two parts that are important, and we're going to reiterate. And the first thing is eye contact. Now, if I'm looking at her, guess what she can't do? She can't close her eyes. If I look over here at this gentleman in a nice looking t-shirt and his eyes are closed, he can actually sense me looking at his eyes. And his eyes are open. And if your eyes are open, guess what happens? Knowledge goes into your brain, which is what this is all about. Eye contact is hugely important. But I got to tell you, it changes in the venue. This venue is different. This venue is set up differently than any club I've ever been in, right? The rooms are bigger, they're tighter. You have a screen here between you and the audience. I mean, normally you'd have a plexiglass. If I had this lathe on, there would be a plexiglass screen there, and I would have on a face mask, and then I got 2 levels of plastic between my eyes and your eyes, okay? This room is set up for that camera to go there. All right. And this is different, so you have to learn to adjust, but you've got to think about maintaining eye contact. In effect, the camera becomes another set of eyes. So if I'm looking directly at that camera, all right, I want to ask a question. To this point in this room, how many people are looking at the monitor primarily, and how many people are looking directly at me? How many people are looking at the monitor? Few in the back? No, it's okay. How many are looking directly up here at me? Yeah. All right, this is not normal. If I got this plexiglass screen up here, guess what? You got to go there. This gets too blurry. Too much wood sap on it. So what am I saying to you? When you come into a venue, get there early, take some time, and think through how you're going to engage your people and see their eyes, and adjust as best you can to get to that point. Now, the second way that I have dealt with this fact of too much information is as I've had to make major decisions about what I can get covered in 90 minutes, I've cut things out. Some of those things are really, really important, okay? Well, let's just do it over here. We'll just use this. Stay away with the technology. So if you go to my website, dennisbelcher.com, handouts, demo skills, what you're going to find is 8 different articles and videos on such things as your first wood turning demonstration, checklist the day of the demonstration. Can they hear you? I got a question for you. How many people in here have hearing issues? Okay, this is really important. I mean, what happens is you have to deal with techniques to allow your audience to get a clear vocal stream to their ears because they have hearing problems. It's quite normal in our age group. I have hearing problems. I had a hearing problem earlier in that with the screen up here, somebody asked me a question. I couldn't quite hear it. Okay, it's a two-way street, right? Now, website, hugely important. Go back there. There's also a video, hopefully, of this demonstration that will be on there, but give me a while to get it done. All right, let's get to the basics. The ABCs, the core of it. And I know this may sound somewhat simple, but it's not. And I tell you, part of the reason that this is not simple is because of the speaking trap. And that speaking trap goes something like this. I've been talking to groups for 30 years. I've been in front of a classroom, right? I'm at a university. I know how to talk. Oh, guys, it's changed. I've been talking for 55 years to groups. And if I go back in the day, you had a podium and a dais, so you're raised up above your audience. You walk up there and there's your microphone. And you put your hands on the podium so that you don't shake too much. And you got your speech there in front of you, and you turn the pages as you go through the speech, right? This isn't a woodturning demonstration, all right? In a woodturning demonstration, there's movement. There's motion. Now, watch what happens when I move. Look at all the heads. They all go with me. What have I done? Don't fall in the trap of thinking you know it all. We're fossils at this age. You hear I said we're fossils? Okay? It's harder for us to change, but this is not what you're used to doing. This is a play. This isn't a speech. Okay, where do we start? Where you start is you make sure your equipment is at the club level, at the venue where you're going to be. You know, the question is it a 1/8 or is it a 1 1/4 8? Do they have a talon or do they have give me another name? Bingo. You know, you got to know that basic stuff. Get it in writing. There's a form on the website and the handouts, right, that helps you guide you through to write down exactly what you can expect at the equipment level as you get to your venue. Okay, now with that done, we're going to go over here and we're going to go through the script. Because you're going to take 6 passes through your demonstration. The first one is you're going to sit down with a yellow tablet. God, I guess I'm stuck in the day, aren't I? Right? Do you use a yellow tablet or you sit down to word processor? What do we do? I go to a yellow tablet. What do you all do? What did I just do? You got that? Okay. Yellow tablet. You write down every step to make your project. Then you go back and you take your notes and you go to the lathe and you try to make it following your script, and you can't do it. You miss some stuff, the way it always is. So you get the second draft of your script. Now, what's important about this script is that becomes the basis for your handouts. And when you write, guess what happens? It makes your mind make decisions about what the sequence is, what you're going to emphasize, what you're not going to emphasize. With your script done, you come back and you say, okay, I'm going to go through each line of that script and I'm going to ask myself, is that a point of danger? Am I going to have a blow up? And you identify it. Now, I like to use colors, okay? It just helps my mind. But try to figure out where you're going to have something that's going to go wrong. Then you go back and you say, I want to find all the slow spots. You know, if you get up there with this, you know, really fine tuning and nobody can see what it's just drilling. Drilling is boring, right? No laughter. Take that one out. Where is slow? How do you speed it up? Now, the next one is, where's the camera? You have to think about what the camera sees because all of this is here, right? So you need to think about what the camera is seeing as you make your project. With that done, we get to blocking. Now, blocking is a concept that comes from the world of drama. And the simple form of it is, where are my feet when? All right? So you're going to think about that as you go through your script. And then finally, the final point that you're going to do is you're going to go back through and pre-plan points of engagement. Where am I going to ask a question of the audience? Where am I going to tell a joke? Now, be careful here. It's okay to talk about yourself, but I got to tell you, you've already told me that if I'm going to talk about me, it better be little. They don't want to hear about you. They want to hear about the project, how they can make that project. But engagement, you pre-plan where your points of engagement are. Now, when you get done, this is a page out of my actual script. Now, you see all the color blocks? I've gone through and I've marked all of those: danger, slow, camera, blocking, engagement. You got it? Okay. Okay. Now, one of the other things that happens, well, I'm off topic there. Let me keep going here. So, what is the camera seeing? Okay, here, let's go back through some of these a little bit better. Disaster points. You know, the classic is I'm up here and I got an African blackwood. I got an 8-inch finial. And I'm taking that last cut with my skew to get it down there whisper thin. It breaks. What you want to be able to do is you take your scroll chuck and you do this, and you put your hand here, and you take that out, and you reach your hand back in your other pocket, and you come out with a completed one. All right, if you do that, what have you just done? Well, you've covered a point of disaster. You've also engaged your audience again. It's another form of engagement. Let's go back to the camera view for a minute. So I'm going to do some embellishments on this bowl. And I want to carve right here. What can my camera see?
Nothing.
Nothing. Huh. What can my camera see? Well, if I had a way camera, right, I might start to see it. But for this camera, I need to be able to do that embellishment here. You with me? So you're just trying to think through, what is the camera going to see and what can I do to improve what the audience sees because I've been sensitive to my view of the camera. Now, another example of that is right here. I do a presentation on the look of things, which is about shape and form. And what I have here is a bowl that I think has very good form. But guess what? The camera can't see it. So what did I do? Now can the camera see it? Yeah. You got it? Lost a good bowl. All right. How do you start? Well, the way you start is, this is what we're going to make. My thumper. We're going to make a thumper. This is the wood that it's made out of. All right? And then you go on from there. Give them a sense of where it starts. Don't spend all your time talking about all this great pieces you made. Tell them this is where it starts, this is where it's made out of, then go on down from there. Okay, blocking is, oh boy, that's a big topic. We're going to get to that more and more and more. Points of engagement. Okay, typical source of engagement. Let me ask you a question. What did I just do?
Engage.
All right. Show of hands. What did I just do? Confucius say, man who run behind the car get exhausted. What did I just do? I pull out my wallet, and we're getting there. And I don't have a 10. If I had a 10, I'd pull it out and throw it in the audience. What did I just do? Now, it's better if your points of engagement are on topic. You with me? You don't really want to become a comedian up here, but you do want to keep your audience engaged. All right, now let's get down to write your script. It's a movie. It's a play. It's not a speech. Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. New topic. You can make a mistake using second best wood. Now, demo pieces typically aren't prime work. You know, you got too many other things going on, and it isn't perfect, right? So you say, well, I might as well use a poor piece of wood because it's going to be a poor piece of wood. And so you get up there and it blows up on you, right? You got to use decent wood. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Use decent wood. The next thing you're going to do is prepare for disaster. You've identified your points of danger. And so you have backups at every point of danger so that you can have a mistake and it doesn't fluster you, doesn't knock you over. Who said, Yeah, it's really important because it's going to happen. I guarantee it'll happen. It can be all sorts of ways. I was talking to one of the other demonstrators, and she was using some epoxy. Bought a brand new set of epoxy, right? The A and the B parts. Got to the demo, went to use them, and they're both frozen solid. Now she can fix that. You go heat it up, and it re-liquefies, and it's good to go. But she's in the middle of a demonstration. What does she do? Well, she had the foresight to know that she could also use CA glue. So she had a backup plan. Have your backup plans prepared. When it comes to the speed, again, drilling is boring. Figure out ways to get stuff done. You don't have to drill a hole to full depth. You don't. Pre-make is whatever you can. So if you're going to rough out a bowl, when you got a out of balance bowl up there, it's a little slow initially. So go up there and show them, how to get started, and then take the bowl out and put one up there. It's always already kind of balanced, and keep going and speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. Keep the speed up. Why is speed important? Yeah, the problem is we got our body has different speeds. I can think faster than I can talk. If I try to talk real fast, you know what happens? I get tongue-tied, all sorts of stuff. But how do I keep my audience engaged if their brain is working faster than my tongue? Well, that's what we're trying to deal with. Roughing, out. Sanding, don't sand. It's too slow. Yeah, you can do it a little bit, but it's also harmful for you because you got no mask on. It's harmful for your audience. Gluing, drilling, second side. Sunday, I'm going to do a multi-axis flower vase. And it's two-sided. Both the sides are complementary to each other. I'm going to tell everybody how to make that one side. And on the second side, I'm going to say, which is the same as the first side. I'm not going to talk much. I'm just going to do it. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. I got another question for you. When you're turning, should you talk? Should you talk and turn, or turn and not talk?
Think about saving what you're comfortable with.
What's your name?
Jesse.
Jesse, if I had a $10 bill, I'd give it to you because that's the right answer. First thing is safety. If you have a piece up here in the lathe and you got the tool on the wood and you try to talk, you're taking part of that attention away from the wood, and you're more likely to be dangerous to yourself and other people, all right? But some people, after you make a couple hundred or something, I mean, you don't really have to look much, right? And so it's okay to talk a little bit, but if you're going to talk, what are you going to say? Are you going to talk about the project? What are you going to do? You got to think about that. And then the next problem, there was one demonstrator I saw that was quite accomplished, and he's down here, and he's got this pin or something on the chuck, and he's going like this, and he's going like this, and he's talking away, and what do you see? What do you see?
Bald head.
You got no eye contact with me, do you? No eye contact. All right. Now, my opinion is that you're better off turning and not talking. So you're going to turn, safety shield's down. Put the safety shield up, talk, tell them what you're doing, put your safety shield down. That's safety first. You're right. You got to be safe. Because you got to remember, it's not about making a project, it's about teaching all those new turners out there what's right. What's the safe way to do things? Hugely important. Voids. You're always going to have them. This is blank spots where you're changing over something. And you need to prepare for them. And jokes are very appropriate there, but you got to be careful with jokes. Most jokes disparage somebody, or they disparage yourself, and those are not okay in a wood turning demonstration. They're not okay. A good source of jokes is right here. Now watch ones. I can turn here. Why do bananas wear suntan lotion? Because they peel. What's the difference between ignorance and apathy? I don't know and I don't care. Okay, but the point is, it's making fun of the language, right? It doesn't offend anybody. So beforehand, what you want to do is you want to have a few written out, right? And you look at them before the demo starts, you get them in your head, and you put them away. And if you need it, if you got a void, if you need to fill a blank spot, you pull one out, quick, move on. Quick, move on. Move on. One of the big changes in technology today is the ability to record your practice demos. And there's a huge bunch of benefits to this. The first benefit is that you can record your demonstration and you can watch it yourself and critique it yourself. Oh, I did that wrong there. I got to change that over here. And you kind of get it fine-tuned. Now, in the old days, what my partner and I would do is we go in the conference room before the big convention, right? And for 10 days at 8 o'clock, we're in the conference room going over our speeches. God, what a lot of time. I mean, it was really boring. It really was. But that's what you had to do. Well, today you don't have to do that. Today you can record your demonstration. And what I found is that if I put it up and I crank up the speed of 125% or 150% and watch the demonstration, it's just as effective at getting it into my head as all those practice sessions. I mean, it's marvelous what that happens. Yes, sir, I have a question. Okay, what he is saying to me is on the slow stuff, okay? Can you actually bring in a video, all right? But the hollowing, that's a good example. So the demonstrator's up here, and I'm going to make this 8-inch hollow form. And so I'm going to complete the exterior, get the form. Everybody sees me, does that. I'm going to come around, and I'm going to start the hollow, and I'm going to stop. But wait a minute, the demonstrator thinks, wait, I'm demonstrating. I got to be good at this. So I'm going to make that hollow form a 1/4-inch walls all the way down to the bottom. What does your audience see?
The same thing.
Nothing. Nothing. So as a demonstrator, this is what you're talking about, is the slow spots. The better way to do that is you form the outside, start the hollowing, you walk over to a whiteboard where you have drawn out what it's going to look like on the inside, and then you come back and you pick up a second one that you've cut in half and says, this is what it looks like on the inside. To your point, did I repeat your question? Your point was, I wish demonstrators would speed stuff up by using videos and points where it's repetitive and you can turn up the speed on the video. It's a very valid point. Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, so his point is if you get it speeded up too much in a demonstration, you run the risk of your viewers not being able to mentally keep up with what's being seen. Now, this is a very good point, and thank you for bringing that up. I'm 78, all right? I got to tell you, folks, my mind doesn't work as fast as it was when I was 48, all right? And it's just the way it is. So you have to be careful. If you speed stuff up too much, you got some people that blank out because their mind just simply can't absorb it fast enough. So you got to be careful in there. But I'm going to go back to, if you're the demonstrator practicing your demonstration, a very effective technique is to watch the recording, turn the speed up. As you watch it, it's just as effective as you saying every single word. So it's a more efficient use of your own time. Now, the other benefit of recording your practice, recording your demonstration is vetting. Send it out to somebody with the club who is a master turner, has a good skill set, and ask him to review that. Looking for unsafe practices, things that you didn't think about, and get some input to make sure that when you go up before a club, that what you're showing them is proper. Clubs have a responsibility to ensure that every demonstrator they allow in front of them passes the safety test. Are they teaching good turning practices? That is a club responsibility, period. Okay? What's the most difficult part of the demonstration? He's right. Ending on time. It's hard. It's hard. It really is. Now, there's a couple things you can do because you've recorded your demonstration. First of all, is you can sit down there and watch the timestamp and see how long it takes you to get through it. Now, in the old days, I used to get a volunteer out of the audience. Take another picture, please, sir. I'd get a volunteer out of the audience, and they'd sit down and write down the times every time I got to a new topic in a demonstration. And then I was able to go back afterwards and say, okay, I got to cut that out. I got to cut that out. I can lengthen this, all right? So that you can adjust your own timing so that you can end on time. Now, that's another benefit. Ending on time, I cheat. What is that? Is it digital or analog?
Analog.
Why is it analog?
Because we're old.
The screen doesn't go black. The screen doesn't go black.
I don't have to think about it. That's a good point, too. Thank you for that. Screen doesn't go blank. But in my mind, I don't have to calculate. If it's digital, I got to do conversion in my head. Here I can look at it and I can look away. And you notice where it is in the height? Because I can go like that and I'm done. I don't have to pull out my cell phone. Yes, sir.
I bought a digital kitchen timer that counts down.
Hey, that works. That works.
5 minutes, and then I push it.
Yeah.
I tell the people I'm pushing it so I can.
Yeah, that works. Your camera operator can help you too. Okay.
Would you repeat what you said?
I couldn't because I forgot what it was. Could you repeat it for me? What did he say?
He said,
Oh, he bought a digital timer because it goes 90, not backwards, 90, 89, 88. I got to think too much about that. I can't handle it. Yes, sir.
Toastmaster's clock.
Okay.
It has the green, yellow, red, so you can set it, and you have 5 minutes left.
So you look at the colors that give you. Now I got to keep moving because I got 53 minutes left. Ending on time. Now, as you plan your demonstration, you know that it's difficult to know if you're going to end on time or not. So plan it in there. So put things at the end that you can leave in or take out. So in other words, on my thumper. This is my thumper. Oh, I got some time. Let me tell you about the finish on it. Let me tell you about the other lengths that I've made, other size. You understand, I'm filling the time because I want to end on time. If I'm running long, guess what? This is my thumper. You don't do all that. Slides are a very good way, images, that I, in many demonstrations, will end with pictures of variations of the basic piece, which I can add more of or less of. So plan techniques that allow you to expand or contract the time. Okay, blocking again. Table placement. Now, what you know is you're going to have some stuff, and you have a decision to make where you're going to put that stuff so that it's accessible to you. And so bear with me a minute. Let's assume that this is my equipment table. Where should I put this table? Should I put it out here? No, obviously not, right? Should I put it back here? A lot of clubs do this. Should I put it back there? So now I got to go get something. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. What did you just see?
You're back.
Okay. Should I Put it here at the tailstock end.
Depends what you're doing.
I want everybody to think about this. That's the real point. Is what you're trying to achieve is I want the supplies someplace where I can get to them quick. I can get to them quick. I got to keep it up. I got to keep it up. I got to keep it up. Yes, sir.
Would you also maybe suggest trying to orient it similar to more how you might have it in your home shop?
Perhaps, but generally the question is, should you try to put it like it is in your home shop, all right? But you can't get away with it. Sometimes the venue controls where you can put stuff. This room is great because it's long and I can go the L off the headstock, right? Sometimes the rooms are narrow and you're forced to go out this way. It's okay. But as long as you think about how do I position that equipment table so I can have ready access to it and keep the flow moving, keep the flow moving. Now we're going to go to the next question. And the question is, how many tools should you take?
The kitchen sink.
How many tools should I take?
What you need.
Okay, now, demonstration technique. What did I just do?
You dumped everything to get our attention.
Do you think I put it into your memory? What was the question? How many tools do I take? What's the answer? Fewer as you can. The less is better. Why? Because you can find it. You can reach over here. If you only got 3 tools, I don't fumble. Repeat after me. Every minute spent looking for a tool equals 1 snore. Every minute spent looking for a tool equals 1 snore. Yes, sir.
Question. Contingencies. If you have a problem, do you have a tool to take care of that contingency? And if so, would you put it in a separate bucket or something?
Okay, the better turner you are, it's really amazing. You use fewer tools. The question is, should you have a tool just because something might happen? Thank you, sir. You failed. Who was supposed to repeat? You were. Hey, okay, man. See, the other nice thing, if you have somebody delegate or repeat the question, then I can blame him, right? My bad. It's a good question. Should you plan on something? Maybe I ought to take that tool because I might need it, all right? Try not to. Because the more I have to fumble, the more I've slowed down the process. Now, the other thing that happens for real is I forgot where I put the tool. Where did I put the tool? Where did I lay down that tool at? Right here. If you can't find the tool, you know what you do? You ask your audience. They'll help you. They're paying attention. You actually didn't do very well on that one. The other groups I've done, they say, "Oh, it's right there." Yeah, but your mind goes, because I got a question over here. I forgot where I put the tool. Right? Fewer the better, and put them in order and quick and quick and quick and quick. I'm really serious about this. You know, many tools can be used multiple ways, and I've been in a situation where I've forgotten the tool. It's out in the truck and I don't have it, right? You just got to keep going. So think about that beforehand. The other key to this is if you've recorded your demonstration, it's time to pack. You start the recording, and every time you pick up a tool in the recording, you pick it up and you put it in your case. Next time you pick up a different tool, you put it in the case. Guess what? You haven't forgotten any tools. All right? Simple stuff. And it's not simple until you make a mistake. Turning coats. Turning coats are important. The reason they're important is because they help your organization. So where is my magic marker? My dry erase marker? Well, it's right here, right? Where is my pointer? Well, it's right here. Where's my paper towel? Right here. I always know where they are because they always go on the left-hand side. Where are my notes? They're over here on this side. Turning coats. I don't care whether it's a turning coat or an apron, a carpenter's apron, but something to allow you to rapidly bring forward things and keep you organized. Very important. Another question. If I come over here and talk, there's a certain feeling to the room, correct? All right? What happens if I sit down and talk? Does the feeling change?
Lower energy.
All right?
People in the back can see.
Yes, they can't see my eyes. I can't see their eyes, right? Say it again, so I couldn't hear.
Now it's a discussion, not demonstration.
I'm sorry. My hearing's not very good
He
either.
said now it's a discussion, not a demonstration.
Yes. Oh, closer. I'm closer to you, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm saying not this huge distance. All of a sudden, I'm not up on this big pedestal. I'm down here. But watch what happens if I come to here. What's it like now? My point is where you position yourself changes the feeling with the room. Is there a right or a wrong? Yeah, you told me that if I sat down, it wasn't very good. Now, what happens if you're a carver or an embellisher? You know, they have a different problem, and they really do. I talked to Molly Winton about this at length yesterday, because I was thinking to myself, well, why don't they carve here on the ways, maybe on a stool? And she says, no, it won't work. She says, because I got to have my hands propped against the tabletop. I got to have my elbows tucked in at I can't do it. I got to sit down. So the question becomes, if you are a carver or doing fine detailed texturing, what's the best way in the blocking sense? And the answer is you need a raised dais. You need an 8-inch platform out here. Now you can sit like I'm sitting now, but everybody can still see my eyes and I can see them. Now, an alternative is 2 cameras. One camera is right down on the work. Molly wants it over her left shoulder for the best view. Second camera is on her face. And the screen is a split view, her face and the work. So she can look up, look at the camera, and all of a sudden everybody's eyes are seeing hers. All right? So again, think about positioning depending upon what your demonstration is. One of the things that I found is really valuable is right here. Marie, what is this? It's a piece of plywood. It's textured. It's painted a shade of gray. Is Kurt here? No. Hey, what gray is this? 18% gray. Okay, works for. But what I have is I have a wonderful display table here, and with the Waze camera coming straight down, I have a wonderful view. But the point is, if you use this, all of a sudden the height is correct, normal camera placement is good, right? And it's a win-win-win-win for everybody. Table placement. Now, we've already ascertained that you all have bad hearing. As a demonstrator, anything that you can do to improve the audio stream is hugely important. One of the things that I hadn't realized, but is very important, is if I'm looking at Kurt in that last row, and I'm talking directly at him, a couple of things magically happen. I open my mouth wider, I articulate better, I don't talk louder, but I articulate better. And what I've been told by audiences is that because I'm doing that, the audio from the speakers is even better hearing for folk. It's easier for them to hear it. Make sense? So if I talk to you, my mouth doesn't open as wide, right? Yeah, but if I go back, all of a sudden my mouth goes, I don't think about it. I don't do it on purpose. All I'm doing is changing where my focal point is. It improves the audio stream. If the audio stream is clear and crisp, what happens with your audience's engagement? Goes up. All right? All right. There's a separate 14-minute video on that. I learned a whole lot doing that. Okay, I'm going to read you a sentence. Contrast detection autofocus is achieved by measuring contrast vision within a sensor field through the lens. The intensity difference between adjacent pixel of the sensor naturally increases with the correct image focus. The optical system can thereby be adjusted until the maximal contrast is detected. Would you like a translation? Cameras have problems with shiny stuff. So when
Things that the background is too similar in color to the object to be focused on.
we'll get to that one too. That's white out, but we'll get there. Okay. So what he was saying is there's a secondary problem which we will get to. But if I have a shiny tool and I have a shiny chuck and I have shiny ways, the camera goes, and it's a bit out of focus because it's trying to average all of those different shiny objects. So what do? Well, you know what we do? We use blue tape. So all of my chucks have blue tape around them. Anything I can do to reduce the number of shiny objects in the lens improves the quality of the focus for the audience. Okay, little things. Next little thing is a thing called whiteout, which is what you were kind of getting into. Particularly USB cameras. If you have too much white, the camera just whites out. I mean, it just doesn't handle it. So there's a simple solution as a demonstrator. Don't ever use holly.
Yeah.
All right? Don't ever use maple. If you're going to have a demo piece, have it be walnut. All right? River birch. Right? But both of them are good. But whiteout. Stay away from too much white. Use cherry, use walnut. Don't use a white wood. It just avoids that whole problem. Good point, sir.
But not all demonstrations are going to be in walnut. Not all demonstrations are going to be in that. So you're going to have to use maple. I'm not trying to be funny.
No. But you don't have to use maple. Figure it out. Use a different wood. Use a river birch. It's lighting also, she says. But my experience is I can just avoid a problem if I don't use a whole bunch of white and shiny stuff around the lathe because of the camera. All right, here's the next thing. Marie, I need you to wake up now. Oh, I'm sorry. I need you to get ready to do some stuff. I want you to zoom in on this control. Now, what she has to do, she has to take her hand off of the boom. She has to go to the telephoto zoom button, press it, and then the camera takes a couple of seconds to actually zoom in. So what we have a tendency to do, yeah, you see that? Zoom in on that. You got to give it time. Now, there's a confidence monitor here, and I got to be honest with you, this is the first time I've seen a confidence monitor that I can actually see. Okay? Most clubs say you don't have it, right? Ask for it if you can, but don't expect it. So you got to talk to your camera people. You just really do. And you have to understand when you ask them to zoom in that you have to give them time for that all to happen. All right, now we're going to talk about flip charts and whiteboards. I'm going to go there, okay? And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to draw this picture on this flip chart. What do you all see? Okay, well, let's see. What do you all see now? I can't see you, and I'm now having to be left-handed. It doesn't work.
Works for me. I'm left-handed. You get whacked on it.
No.
Pre-draw your pictures and just do the flipping.
Hey, I got a good audience here. But we're going to make you better because I'm not going to do either of those things. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a whiteboard and I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get my dry erase marker and I'm going to draw right here. Now, what's just happened? Can you see that? And I can still see you? All right? Now, if you're going to use, and this is radical. I've never seen anybody else do this, but it just makes sense. Anytime I go over there to draw on that board, I'm showing you my back, or I'm making my cameraman run across the room as fast as they possibly can. And that's not fair to them. Now, yes, sir.
If I'm remembering correctly, and I'm taking notes and trying to remember correctly, you just told us to eliminate all white.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Just introduce the big white spot.
Yeah, and watch what happens. There's a problem with glare here, right? See the glare? Yeah. So what I did, because I knew this was going to happen, normally it's a Waze camera, and my lights at home are situated so that if I do it right here, the reflection is down here. All right, but sometimes in a strange venue, I don't have that problem. So what I would do if I could is I'd have that turned off. Or I would look at my confidence monitor, and if I look at it there, how is it now? I've gotten rid of the glare, haven't I? Yeah, thank you for that. So the key is, yeah, glare's a problem, white's a problem, you got a management. If I could find a gray dry erase board, I'd use it. I can't find it. Now, how many folks in here are engineers? You're cursed. And the reason is you don't like things that aren't crisp and equal, right? You're trained not to accept that. But when you're using, in a wood turning demonstration, you need to be quick. So your drawings never go back and erase. You know, what you want to have happen is you want that drawing to be crude. As long as it's quick, that's what you want. Because you're helping the mind get the information you're trying to convey. That work? Now, I want to thank you because normally I would do it here, and that's what I do at home because I got where my lights are. But you were telling me, thank you, that I was getting glare. So I adjusted to the point where I didn't have the glare. How did I do that? Well, that light's coming down, but now it's doing this. It's not bouncing off of the board. All right?
But you don't use like a pad of paper instead of the whiteboard because you're not going to have the glare?
Yes. Thank you. Wait. She said, why don't you use white paper or yellow paper? And the answer is, good idea. The only problem is I can't erase it fast. All right? Yeah. Actually, can I borrow that? That's well done. That's well done. All right, I'm going to go to the flip charts again. There is a place for the flip charts, and you're seeing it here. And what that is I have taken information that I wanted you to be able to take pictures of, hint, 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 all right? So that it's already there. So if I had a second page of a hollow form inside, that would be good. And a third page, so you don't do it on the fly, you have them set up beforehand, all right? Now you're seeing the flip charts in that manner. Now I've told you it's okay to move. So I'm going to emphasize that point by passing this around. This is a broken chain. And the point is you do not have to be chained to the lathe. It's also a demonstration technique because now I've introduced tactile memory. When you take a piece and you pass it around, you give your audience a chance to feel it, which is a different part of the memory. They can also take a picture of it. Odds are likely it will get damaged. So keep that in mind as you select things that you pass around. But it is a good form of engagement with the audience to actually pass stuff around. All right, pointers. I've got this really fancy pointer. It's got a built-in USB transmitter and a receiver. You know, God, I hope I put batteries in it. Oh yeah, I guess I did. Wait, see, I got to remember how to turn it on. Okay, now can you see that? What do you see?
Very funny.
Can you focus on it? I can't hold still, right? Well, wait a minute. The further away it is, the more small movements here get magnified. Watch what happens when I go over here to a monitor. What happened to it?
Disappears.
Hey, this is high tech. This is all, you know, this is the top technology in pointers, right? And you're telling me, and it works diddly. Okay, so what are we going to do? We got to do something. What are we going to do? What we're going to do is, would you rather have the rectangle or the round? Which one? Round, okay. Now, if I come over here and I want you to pay attention right here, are you able to do that? Does the pointer move?
No.
Why not? I'm touching the screen. Am I damaging the screen? It's wood. No, I'm not. Now, you want to go high tech? Put electrical tape on the end. Now, what happens if you lose that? Well, I got a stick here too. You know, I mean, this sometimes just the simple stuff really is the more effective way. It keeps you from having to fumble to having problems. Now we get to computers. Oy vey. Computers actually are kind of important because you can pull things up like, I don't know how to do it. And even if I did know how to do it, I wouldn't want to because I'm not accustomed to it. All right? Now, so this is my website. If you go over to handouts and down to demonstration skills.
Okay, great. We let you move into this state? That's all you live in Hampstead,
I do. Where do you live?
near Asheville.
Well, hey, that's your problem. But anyway, but this is important. There are places where putting a computer online is really a good thing to do, so that I can go in and do things like this. Now wait a minute. Hold on. There you go. All right. Now, PowerPoint. Everybody around here is familiar with PowerPoint, right? There's a problem with PowerPoint. The problem with PowerPoint, there's two parts to it. One is the slides, but the second is the program. So I go into this location. I got everything on this USB drive. I hand it to them. They plug it in their computer, and they don't have PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. Dumb mistake, right? So avoid that mistake. Instead, use File Manager, which is much simpler. But now I can come up and I can go boom, 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 or I can say, wait a minute, I want to not show everyone. I want to just go down and show this one. So I'm able to control my time because I missed a whole bunch of images and it's kind of on the fly. Works really well. But we have a problem. So I called up the program manager and I said, look, I'm coming in. I got some slides that are an important part of the, Marie, let's switch it back. Let me see how you do that.
See where it says boom and it says computer?
Oh, okay. Hey, that's cool. And I say to the program manager, you know, I got some slides I want to run. Tell me about your connections. She says, we got them all. I said, oh. Well, have you got HDMI? She said, yeah, we got it, we got it. I said, well, do you have full-size HDMI? Do you have mini HDMI? Or do you have micro HDMI? Duh. So how do you stop that problem? Well, What I finally evolved to after a few mistakes is a different kind of conversation with the program manager. I say to the program manager, I want you to send me a picture of your connections. I want to see the back of what I'm going to plug into so that I can tell exactly.
Looks like VGAs.
Yeah, let's go back a few. But this VGAs was the standard right here. Then we went to HDMI. I got bad news. It's changing again. Now they're going to a display port. Anyway, this is the best way to solve that problem. It's also important. Yes, ma'am.
Question. For backup contingency, do you have a set of adapters from HDMI standard to mini to blah, blah, blah?
Repeat the question.
The question is, what's your backup? The backup is my cell phone. I've got all those images on my cell phone, and I can go in with a USB-C to an HDMI, and this is an HDMI full size. I've also got a mini, all right? They're inexpensive. The problem with the images off your phone is they're formatted like this instead of like this, okay? But that's a backup. So if I go further down that road, that's also a backup of the images. All right, so I have multiple backups. Now, there's a fallback that works really well. And I'm going to pull the HDMI, and I'm going to take this laptop. Marie, I want you to come in on that laptop screen if you can.
Dennis, you're using File Manager, is that a PC?
Yeah.
Does it work the same for Apple, Mac?
I don't know what the file manager is in Apple.
It'll have a different name, but I'll find it.
Yeah, it's the concept. You don't want an intermediate program, and you want to make it flip it quick, quick, quick. What did I just do? I got no connections. I avoided the whole problem. Now, is the image as crisp as it was if it was through the 8? No. Is it okay? Yeah. Plan B. Plan B. You got it? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Well said. So what she's telling me, the world changed again on me. All right, and no, it really has, and this is part of the problem with technology. And after futzing with all this stuff, the simpler it is, the better I like it. So I would rather have a PDF, right? That's on my home screen that I can go and double click on, right, to get the text out. Then what was that? PSE? I'm sorry. Thank you for that, though. But the simpler you can make it, the less you have to think about something besides your demonstration. That's really the key point. Try to keep it as simple as you can. If I had druthers, I'd walk in with photographs this big. Okay? Why? It doesn't go bad on me. At one point in this, I had all this fancy stuff about that, and you know, as I look at it, and I go, oh, it goes bad. It goes bad. I got a really important topic to get to. Safety. When you're up in front of a group of turners, half of them are new. And half of them are going to watch everything you do, and every bad thing you do, they're going to take home, and they're going to do, and they're going to get hurt. You have to be safe. You have to really think about the shortcuts that you might take in your home shop. I mean, one of them is, oh, I'm just going to leave that tool here across the ways, because I can quick and grab and go. But what happens? Oh my God, 18 stitches down my... I heard this from a guy yesterday. The skew came off the lathe bed, went down his bare leg, sliced it right open. Yeah, maybe you do that in your shop, but when you're demonstrating, you have to be safe. When you pick up a tool off the floor, explain what it is, how it's sharpened, how you use it, all right? Because your audience doesn't know. The better job you do explaining each tool that's used, the better demonstrator you become. And now, unfortunately, we lost that young lady. Next one up, handouts are hugely important. Now, in the old days, well, you need to have handouts. Today they're video. I got a short form, just move it up a little bit, because the next thing is hugely important, called the voice in the audience. As a demonstrator, you have to be prepared for questions from the audience. And there are 3 types of questions. The first type of question is asking you about something that you're going to tell them about 2 minutes later. Okay? That's the most common one, and what indicates they're paying attention. That's okay. That's good, right? The second type is the hard type. The second type is, let me tell you how I do it. And it goes on and on and on. Anybody run into that? Yeah. All right. So you got to figure out what you're going to do beforehand. Now, my practice had been is I have these 4x6 index cards in my turning coat. Okay. Let me cover that at the end of the demo. We've got a lot to get through. Okay. How'd you know that was the next thing I was going to talk about? All right. Glad you asked that. Let me come back to it. I don't care whether you do or not, because you got to keep control. There's 2 sides to this problem. The one side is your audience is asking you questions that you need to be able to respond to. And then there's the guy who, let me tell you how I do it. What do you do with him? Yes, sir. What do you do?
Well, I usually start out saying there's several ways to do the same thing. I'm sharing.
Yeah, but let me tell you the way I do it.
And that's good.
Okay, you ready? Let's practice, right? Thank you for sharing that, but I got to get back to the topic at hand because I only got 16 minutes left. You got me? You got to be a little brutal sometimes. It was wonderful. Those are like 2 or 3% of your questions. So the takeaway that I want you to have is, before the demonstration, write out the responses you're going to use. Because as you write them out and put them in your back pocket, they're ready for it. You're ready for it. The other thing that's happened today is some clubs are starting to stream their club meetings out to folks at home, which is a good thing. I'm less clear on how to actually bring those away folks into the club meeting. Just something to be aware of. I haven't run into it enough yet to get a firm handle on that. Now, if I'm at home and I'm Zooming, if I'm doing a remote demonstration, it's easy for me to bring them in. But if I'm live talking to a club and they've got a Zoom going out, all right, I don't know exactly how to handle that. If you run, yeah, that's come up before, okay? And the question is, the classic question is, I got a couple of audience members in the back of the room. They're out there having their own private conversation, and there's a couple of things that happens. First thing that happened, many of the hearing aids today, the pickups are in the back, so your audience is hearing the conversation in the back more than they are yours, right? The problem you have as a demonstrator is to call out 2 people in the back of the room is kind of embarrassing. Right? So what you do instead is you come over here to your board president and say, could you go back over there and take care of that? Yeah. Thank you. You kind of do that on the QT. If there's a pattern of it, it's up to the board president, whoever's running the meeting, to address that and break that habit. That's a good question. Thank you for that. Other questions? Okay, I want to go back to this question for a minute. Questions from the audience. There's 2 sides to it. One side is if she asks me a question, you folks are not going to hear her because she's talking to me, so her volume is down because I'm not that far away from her, right? That's why I'm supposed to repeat the question. That's it right there. But from a demonstrator standpoint, I lose control of my time. And I've had situations where I'm getting a small audience, I'm getting questions, this running too long. So you really got to prepare yourself. And it's not simply all on the audience's side. If you have a long demonstration and you know it's long, it is perfectly fine to say up front, I need every minute. Save your questions. See me afterwards. I promise you I won't leave until all your questions are answered. All right? But be prepared for it. Now, I've missed a couple of things. One of the things I missed is the mouse on a computer screen. And I don't understand this exactly, but you know, if I'm home on my computer, I can see that mouse just fine. You take that mouse and you enlarge it up there, what happens? Nobody in the audience can ever find it. All right? So what do? Well, the best thing I ever have found is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got that? And she's doing a good job, right? What is that? It's a tongue depressor. All right, I used to get amused.
Looks like that would stamp somebody first.
Don't do that anymore. What you want to do? They're not, 1,000 of them for $10, and actually it's a great thing around the shop. You can stir with it, but all I've done is sharpen it and put a little bit of color on the end. And now what happens when I want to point at something on a computer screen, I can go, see right here, see right here, see right here. It works really well, much better than the mouse. We got about 5 minutes if you folks have got anything else that you would like me to respond to. Yes, sir.
It'd be great if we could open up other ideas that people use at work. And it causes audience engagement.
So, I'm losing your point. Wingman I got, all right? What did I do about the questions? What did I do? I recruited somebody. Okay? Okay, second point.
Sometimes you don't have the tool.
That's on you.
Well, a bandsaw is not available, but it's part of the project.
Come to my demonstration tomorrow and you'll see me deal with that exactly. Because it's, and the way I do it is I use a Swiss Army knife rather than a bandsaw. Okay?
Harbor Freight axe, behind the shield.
Hey, whatever works. You have another point there?
Last one is handouts. I'm cheap. I don't like to make 50 handouts.
Okay, let's go back to that. In the old days, handouts. In the old days, what would happen is I go down to Kinko and I get 25 copies of whatever my handout is, right? And I go to the meeting and there's 37 people there. Not going to let that happen again. So next demo, I want 75 copies. And there's 17 there. But things have changed. Today it's PDFs. And so I make a point to have PDFs. I send them to the program manager several weeks prior to the meeting and ask that he disseminate them. 50-50. You got me? So what I have gone to is what you see here. If you go look at my website, for each of the demonstrations I do, besides the demo skills, there's a link. All the handouts are there. Thank you for that.
Right in the post office.
And I forgot one other thing. But this really is important. The handouts are really important because the 2 or 3% that really want to make it, they need the handouts. Now, it's changed. Today, it's not PDFs, it's PDFs and videos. Yeah, I want to do something else with it, but that's a good point. Now, what just happened to the audio? Has it changed? So should I turn and talk or turn and not talk? Should I turn and talk or should I turn and not? I mean, this is what you got to deal with. Now, when you get really 14 minutes on it, specifically this, and I tried out different safety shields. The safety shield makes a difference. The microphone makes a difference. This is the gold standard when you have something right by your mouth, so that the distance between your mouth and the pickup never changes. I mean, it really helps, but you still got a problem. When you put down a safety shield, you have diminished the audio stream. All right? So be aware of that. Do you wear a safety shield? Yes. That's where I came back with, I'm better off turn and not talk. Turn and not talk. Okay, I miss the most important people in this room, by the way, and I want to acknowledge them. You know who the most important person is in this room?
Yeah.
Right over there and right over there. Now, before this demonstration, and I'm really hard on camera folk in this demonstration because I move around so much. And this venue is set up for somebody locked here at the lathe, right? That's what and it's really kind of interesting as I got into that. But nevertheless, before this demonstration, I sent both of them videos of this demonstration so they could get some sense of the mess that they walked into. Okay? Now, they both listened because what I was telling them, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with me as I move around. Right? So what did they do? They zoomed out. But if I haven't talked like that with them, they're going to ruin this whole demonstration from your standpoint because you're using the monitors, right? But they can't keep up with me. You still had a bit of problem with that. That's on me, Marie. But thank you, both of you. I really appreciate that. Any other questions before I go into wrap up? Okay, I'll hang around afterwards. Business cards are right there on the table if you want to email me an idea or share a thought or ask a question. Hey, I'll be around here as long as you all need me to be around here. But we're going to end on time. Why are we going to end on time? Because my clock tells me to. All right? Now, I've covered a lot of stuff. You can't remember it. Yeah, I'm sorry, human mind can't pick up that many new things. I mean, this is 60 years of speaking flaws that I'm trying to convey to you in 90 minutes. You go back to the handouts, download them, look at them, share them with your club. You know, this is about improving the wood turning community. And remember, it's not about you. You know, it's not a point for you bragging about how good you are, because there's always somebody better. If you don't believe me, go look at the instant gallery. My goodness. Whoa. Is that stuff fantastic? But it's not about you, it's about your audience. Find your own natural demonstration style. As you watch a demonstration, retain the things that you see happening. Techniques are appropriate for your personality. Discard the ones that aren't. Okay? If you can't tell a joke well, don't tell jokes. It's okay. Find your own style. Watch the video. That's from the one at Totally Turned. It's going to take me a while to edit this one and try to get it back up. So, but there's one on there, and there's one on my YouTube channel, and it's a pretty decent video. And if you could do better, I'd love to have somebody volunteer to edit my videos. Okay? But more than anything else, you are the teachers of the next generation of woodturners. And you are really wood. And I thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come help the wood turning community. Thank you.